Welcome back, baby. This is Tablet Talk Part 2, Episode 1. I'm your boy Tehuti, and today we are deconstructing Matt's. Oh, I forget his last name. Matt Barnes. There we go. Matthew Barnes. Matt's translation of a fraction of text that I've written back in a different body as Hermes Trismegistus. Actually, a quick correction. He said that Hermes was an Egyptian philosopher, and I said basically the same thing, Egypt and Greece. That was me being like too emotional and too in the present moment. Not at all the same thing. Egypt is way older and goes way harder than Greece can really dream of. Greece is like the little newborn child offshoot of Egypt, and then all that got commandeered by the white supremacist Martian Luciferian agenda Freemasonic order that has released my tablets in a way that was designed to trap you instead of liberate you. So I'm back as Chase Clarence Calloway to live out and do the work that I intended my tablets to do, which is to give you the wisdom and thus knowledge that comes from wisdom to liberate yourself so that you can be free, truly free forever, no matter where you are. And this is what freedom is all about when it comes down to being a spirit is detachment. Detachment from your body specifically. And I know, right? That's scary. So here we are. And this is the point of, yes, me being here, is that people are scared of death. So the simulation can trap them in light because spirits are so scared of their own darkness that they don't want to take their own light into their darkness and become a fully nine-dimensional being. And that was the whole point of us setting up Egypt and so many indigenous cultures on this planet, is to teach and share and grow in the structure that we built to help our ascension. So the entities that have taken my books, tablets, they intend to enslave humanity. So they're only going to release my information if they change it in a way that enslaves you. This is what we're talking about today. All right. So this is part 2. I'm sure Matt is a great, awesome person. If you want to read this tablet for yourself, the intro to this tablet shows that Matt's got it. I like Matt. We're talking about something much bigger, right? We're talking about an agenda on a simulation level. We're talking about spiritually when a world is dead and it needs you to keep building it, it's going to do everything it can to convince you that you're not worthy of creating or building your own world. Universally, I would love for you to build your own world like this one. That's what needs to happen. And you're the only one stopping yourself in that case. Just based on your feelings. So that's what we're talking about is deconstructing and going back into all these different versions of my tablets that have been translated by people in English and actually telling you what I meant, because this is wrong. And I'm actually going to be coming into this video with way more fire than before because I already went in like 40 minutes for this part 2 before my phone decided to delete all the footage and not let me continue. Technology. So it's actually about to serve an awesome purpose because the space I'm speaking from now is different than the space that I was speaking from when I did this the first take. Let's get in here. Number 6. Separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the gross, with great care and diligence. Matter, which is gross and heavy and coarse, is represented by earth, for sure. When we're talking about matter, we're talking about the densest form of light versus the lightest form of light is fire. So elementally, the densest form of light is earth and perhaps even metal. But that's where, now there's light metals. We'll keep it simple. Earth, and the lightest light is fire. Heaviest light, earth. Lightest light, fire. Spirit, which is subtle and light and fine, is represented by fire. No. So we're going to drill this in. No. And that's where I wanted to almost make it work. Like, oh yeah, the spirit is represented by fire. But no, this isn't what they're trying to say, bro. They're literally trying to tell you that your spirit is light. Your spirit is fire. And that's the only reason they would release my tablets like this. That's a flipping lie. Big flipping lie. It's a lie that's meant to keep you flipping here forever, just trapped here, cycling here. You're not light. You are so much greater than light. You're nothing. You're infinite. You are zero. And the moment you believe you're light, you are confining yourself to one thing that is based on the awareness around you. So this world, everything you can see is created from light. And when a world is light and it wants you to use your soul to build more light in that world, then it needs to convince you not to go create your own world, not to create your own light. It needs to convince you that you are actually a product of its light. So no matter what you do, it's only going to benefit the simulation that you've chosen to be in at that time. And then it's your choice as a spirit whether you level up out of that or not. And that's what we're talking about here, ascension. So yeah, no, the spirit's not fire. But if I was going to make it work, the spirit is represented by fire. Because fire is the lightest light. It is imagination. It is the first light. As is the world around you, so too is your being, like the world at large. Your form is made of earth, matter, your body, right? Dense, you're in flesh, so you're of sin because you forgot that you're nothing. You purposely forgot that you're nothing because you're chasing some sort of desire that you can only have inside of a body. In here, in this world. But you are enlivened and animated by fire, spirit. To translate that, you're not enlivened or animated. But if we're going to say like fire being your first imagination, all spirits are zeros. All spirits are individual nothingness. This is why then when a spirit externalizes themselves and creates one imagination, there's no imagination like it anywhere in existence. Anywhere. Not one. Like, it's unique because everything, infinity is possible, but so much is possible, you can't even imagine how much is possible. It takes other spirits who aren't you with different imaginations and then all of us coming together using all of our imaginations to really make all possibilities. It's awesome. I mean, that's like, it's super beautiful. I don't see how that's whack in any way. It would only be whack if you don't want to take responsibility for yourself and your own light. And so then that's where these tablets and a lot of spiritual texts in this world are really going to want to and will be hammering in that you are light, because really it wants to make you subservient on light and run away from your darkness, which is created by your spirit. So it's like two levels of taking you out of yourself. The illness of the masses is that they believe that they are the body that they inhabit, right? Forgetting that they're desirelessness and then believing full-heartedly that they are desire. Not sustainable, only consumptive, inherently demonic. Prone to illness and decay and decline and eventually death, which death to the body looks like the end when you're a spirit and you know that you are using bodies to express your infinite nothingness. Death is only ever a transformation. They believe their body to be the entirety of who and what they are, and think they're ultimately destined to oblivion along with the body. The truth is that we have a body, but we are not that body. What we are is the consciousness. No. We create consciousness. We are not consciousness. We create consciousness so that we can become aware and then start to ascend from wherever we are, aware, to ascend out of where you are. And then that's just where you're always raising your vibration into then desirelessness, because that's the highest vibration anyway. So it's just going to be a cycle from there. The truth is that we have a body, but we are not that body, right? We create Earth to animate with our chi. That's what I was going to say in the last part. Hold up. You are enlivened and animated by fire. No. So fire is desire. That's one energy. You are animated by three, by your chi. You're animated. Your body, your four, your earth, is animated by the combining of your fire and water. You are not animated by fire. You would be dead. Fire is just one. It's just ego. It's just one direction. That's impossible. That's death. Like, you're clearly animated by water. For them to say that I said you're enlivened and animated by fire, which is spirit, boo. Boo. Not indigenous. Very white supremacist. Boo. God. Water. Water plus fire. 1 + 2 = 3 equals chi. And that's what animates your earth, your four. Okay. So what we are is a consciousness? No. We create fire because we desire to express ourselves. And then that's where we have to create a subconscious, the feeling, because we have to actually learn how to connect with ourselves and all the opposites of what our imagination dictates, so that we can actually learn how to reflect and thus truly connect with other people. Like, when you look at a body of water like the sun, that's literally just a body of water where all the spirits that want to create life there only imagine doing it in a fiery way. So that's all one energy. So it's literally just a bunch of spirits that are like, hey, I'm an individual. And then they're just like beating each other over the heads with their individuality. So imagine life like that, literally. Imagine a life where everyone is just shoving their individuality at you. Like, that's just a bunch of dicks. Just a bunch of like, hey, look at my ego. Look at my ego's big. My ego's big. And it's just, that's the sun. That's fire. That's hell. Literally. Because no one's willing to go from 1 to 2. No one's willing to connect with like themselves even, right? If you think like, oh, I keep projecting my ego at people, but how would I feel if people did that to me? Boom. Now you're connecting with yourself because you're able to project an opposite and harmonious flame from your first flame and actually learn more about yourself. And once you cool those two down, you actually have water. Now you have life, because it's the balance of desire and everything that must counteract that desire. Ultimately, a spirit is desireless, but if the spirit wants to externalize itself, that itself is a desire. So that's where a spirit is both. And so a spirit must use these two opposite, desire and desirelessness, thought and feeling, masculine and feminine, to unite together to express itself in general. So that's 3. So yeah, we are not the consciousness. Fire. But our spirit creates consciousness, creates a fire, creates an imagination that then creates the 2 and the 3 and the 4, and that allows us to make the pyramid. So your fire is like the eye at the top of the pyramid on a dollar bill, and then your body would be, or your earth would be the bodies at the bottom of that pyramid, holding up the fire. So like your imagination, built the pyramids from the top down, right? Because we're talking about imagination going into feeling and then communicating it and then creating earth. So these white supremacists will never figure out how I built the pyramids because they're just not spiritual. They really exist outside of the simulation. They can't see how life goes from spirit to fire to water to air, then to earth. They're trying to like build pyramids from the bottom up. Also, the pyramids are way bigger than they seem just because of all the sand and stuff. That's whatever, bro. Pyramids are built from the top down. All ideas are built from the top down. This is just spiritual. We're talking about fire. Anything under one eye, an eye can see everything that's happening inside of its idea. So when you use money, whoever created money can see what you're doing with that money because it's their idea that they created to build their version of life. So the more you use money to build your life, you reflexively build the life bigger for the spirit that created money and created the concept that you're living inside of. Don't take my word, don't take my words or anyone else's as truth, grains of sand. You must see this truth for yourself. This is a necessity. Fast. And then that's where I'm big on fasting. Like, please fast. Please fast. Like, I fasted so much in this life, and people still will constantly try to stop me. Like, now people have learned in my life to just let me fast, even though they think it's extreme, because they tried to stop me so much and I didn't let them, that they're like, okay, I still want to connect with Chase, so I'm just going to stop saying this so he doesn't get upset at me for trying to stop him from doing his spiritual mission. But a lot of people try to stop me, and it's only going to be out of their ego, out of their fire, right? Like, anyone who wants to stop me, like, you haven't eaten for 24 days? You're sick. You're crazy. You need to eat now. What's wrong with you? I'm wise enough to know that from their ego fire, they literally can't imagine not consuming something from the world to live, because they're so indoctrinated in white supremacist ideas. And then that's where it takes me, as a wise spirit, to love that person and just not let them affect me. Fasting is awesome. So fasting is the way that you will die without dying, because you actually realize you're not your body. Like, the more you indulge in desires of the body, the more you think you are your body. This is what I'm writing about here. And this is why this white supremacist world, America especially, pushes you to eat 3 times a day with snacks in between, because they want you anchored in this world. They don't want you in your world. They want you anchored in this world, and then they're controlling and killing all the indigenous people in this world, so that then you will help them do that through using money, through using Apple products. I mean, I'm on an iPad right now. Like, here we are. It's all genocide. It's all literally this fiery New World Order imagination, burning all the indigenous earth structures that were here, and fire into earth creates metal. So now we have this technology that is only as good as the earth it came from, and only as good as the fire that desires to let you use it. Don't take my words or anyone else's words as truth. You must see the truth for yourself. Necessity. Please fast. Don't eat things from the world. Once you start eating things from your world, aka your own thoughts and feelings from your spirit, your body will start to match the vibration of your spirit. That's where you start to get synchronicities, and crazy awesome things will happen in your life down here. Because now this reality starts to match the reality of your dreams, of your spirit, your true fire, your true desires. The path is long and hard. It takes years of learning and study and diligent observation, yet is worthwhile in a way I could never explain. I'll do my best though. For the secret within is a treasure, far beyond any treasure this world could ever hope to offer. Fast, 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 fast. Please, please fast. The whole reason, like, it's even in the Bible, right? Jesus literally was not Jesus until he fasted 40 days in the desert alone to go talk to God. And for some reason, millions upon millions of people would rather worship a guy who did not eat food to talk to his spirit. And they're like, oh, okay, I don't need to talk to my spirit. I'll just listen to this guy. He fasted so I don't have to, basically. And then that's how people stay disconnected from themselves. But I mean, spiritually, they're learning about themselves regardless, because everything's spirit. So even when they're not connecting with themselves, they're connecting with something that resonates with them and their emotions. And then that's just where they'll have to generate hate to get out of that hell and to turn into a non-dimensional being. For the secret within is a treasure far beyond any treasure this world could hope to offer. Within your body, earth, and behind the thoughts that fly randomly across the screen of your mind, is the watcher within, fire. Now this is where it's true. An awareness, a consciousness, an energy, a mind. That is fire. That can never be destroyed, for energy is indestructible. Okay. You as a spirit are nothing. Fire is your awareness. It's the A. It's the alpha. It is you deciding to externalize yourself in some way. And that's the light. And so there's like so much infinite feeling that is going on that can't be seen. This is why it's like the zero overall is still feminine in nature, because nature is feminine in nature, because nature needs to connect with itself, and it's just water based, not fire based. So whatever. Um, so that's where this part is like resonates, because we have to create an awareness. The thing with meditation though is that you want to step outside of your awareness, because your awareness is only ever going to be restricted to what you know, quote unquote, up to that point, right? Like, where are you at up to that point? If you want to truly be infinite, you need to be unconscious, not subconscious. And then that's like the challenge. It's like, how do you take your consciousness into unconsciousness? How do you take your body into your spirit? Energy is indestructible. This Luciferian realm loves to say that energy cannot be created, because it is working really hard to trap you in its construct. So it doesn't want to tell you that you created your body or you created the situation you're in. It wants to tell you that everything always has been and everything always will be like this, because it's trapping you in its imagination, in its idea of life. Energy can be curated. It is created. Energy is created all the time. We create energy from nothing constantly. That's life. Now, can energy be destroyed? That's a thing. That's like, energy's really is transformed. It doesn't end. And that's the whole thing with abundance. Even if you were to take something into nothing, that's still part of doing something, and that's still part of adding to the universe. And this is why scarcity will never win over abundance, because scarcity is just part of abundance, right? Like, feeling that you don't have enough is just part of being enough. So it's like, it doesn't like it's inherently, it's weird, right? Like, the universe is inherently masculine because it's always extending and projecting out. But then from there, it's only powered by feminine energy, because it's only powered by feelings and the zero in spirits connecting with themselves by separating from nothingness. So then it's all balance. Yet still choosing from a feminine place to be masculine, almost. Like, yes. Choosing to put your feelings into these thoughts. And then that's where spirits go from nothing to feminine to masculine. Although if we're talking 0 to 1 to 2, it looks like 0 turning into a man, because we can only see the man. See the distinction, see the separation. And from that point on, you are forever free, like a bird, an eagle. As often as possible, watch all that happens around you and within you from that still place within. Now, still place within, that's not fire. See, now we're talking about spirit. We're talking, because fire is always dancing. Fire can't be still. Have you seen a still flame? Show me a still flame and I will show you a pixelated photograph that is just in place and not a flame. Like, flame doesn't stand still. That's the wisdom of flame, shows us that the only constant is change. Even when you have one, it's dancing. It's infinitely, it looks different in any given second or space. So if you want to actually be still, we're talking about like going not from the flame but to spirit, which is simultaneously everywhere and nowhere. And then that's where it's clear, and that's where you're actually still, because you have no thoughts or feelings. You're actually internal, because you're not internal, you're nowhere. As your body moves and your thoughts rise and fall, and the world and all its dramas and dreams, all its feelings and thoughts seem to spin chaotically around you, stay calm in the center, your spirit, within your core, and simply watch. So we're talking about watching with no judgment, being a true spirit. So this, right? Boo this tablet, boo this world trying to convince you that your spirit is light, because it wants you, when you die, to go back to the light so you come back here and stay enslaved. Boo all of that. because this is trying to say that you're supposed to watch from your fire. That would mean that you are not actually like you're not meditating, you're manifesting. Two M words, but different. To meditate is to observe what you want to manifest. Because anything you want to manifest is coming from desire. Like meditation is the same every day. Manifestation changes based on what you want. So that's why like it's important to meditate on what you want to manifest. If you're meditating from a fireplace, that's literally you just projecting out your flame and your vision. And yeah, literally just projecting out your flame and vision and living in a state of desire. That's not meditation. Watch your body move and watch your thoughts and emotions as they rise and fall and fade away. What is it within you that is doing the watching? Unattached to the dramas of the world. Your spirit. This is where it goes from 0 to 1, and life is like you're fluctuating, especially in like meditating versus manifesting, is 0 to 1. Manifesting is 1 energy, meditating is 0 energy. So if you really want to manifest something, you need to like go desireless completely so that you can truly see which desires actually serve you and what's a true representation of your desirelessness. What is it within you that is doing the watching, unattached to the dramas of the world? What is it within you that is doing the watching, safe and unharmed and untouched by this world? Again, your spirit. Your spirit cannot be touched. Nothing can be touched. You can't touch a spirit. The spirit needs to create feelings like it wants to connect with a world and then ignite its imagination into those feelings to communicate that desire to connect, which allows it to create a body finally in that world. And that's how it goes from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to then 5. And that's overall 6. And it allows it to have 6 all the time in a bigger way. It is the watcher within. It is you, the real you, your spirit. This is how it's going to go back to saying fire. It makes no sense that it's trying to say in a still place, but also fire. Fire is not still. Water is more still than fire, because that's the point. It's fire that learned how to cool down and actually represent the spirit instead of being a desire. That is what it is. You are the watcher within, immortal and free. And without. Your body is inside of you. You're not inside of your body. Let's flip that, right? Your aura, your awareness is greater than your body. You as a 0 create a body inside of your 0 to experience inside of yourself. And so that's where like electromagnetically we can see that your heart extends way further past your body because it's actually an emotional representation of your spirit all outside of here, bringing thoughts from one side and feelings from another to then join into the heart and create this Merkaba. Merkaba. Mer, water, ka, air, ba, earth. All represents, the fact that it can come together in that way is fire. It represents one idea, which then is possible because of 0. So we can see right there, Merkaba, 2, 3, 4, which is all in 1 encased in the 0. You create a body to experience your spirit. And that's why all bodies expire, and then you create a new body. This mind is who and what you are, not the body. Oh, hold up. Explore with your mind. Can anything contain it? Okay. Is it bound by time or space? Can you not think of a place and be there in an instant, in your mind's eye? Can you not travel in time or explore the stars and create worlds of your own within your mind? The mind is eternal and free, unlimited, unbound. I'll hit to that. Because now we're talking about the infinity between 0 and 1. So when we're thinking about desirelessness and 0, being the spirit, That's nothing. And the one, the body, that's something. So what's in between nothing and something? The mind. So that's the whole point of why I say everything is mental, and everything I do with hermetics and vibration is about how all of life is the astral realm. Everything is water because everything is the mind connecting two opposites together. Everything in existence is going to be the mind connecting desires and desirelessness into some creation every second. And seconds are time because time comes second to what is, which is us as spirits. So when we look at time, that shows that that's the logical blocking out of how our feelings change. That's why time, your experience of time, your perception is different based on how you feel at the moment. Because time is just us doing our best to logically block out how water moves, how emotion is in emotion. And that's why we all have a different sense of time. And really everything just is happening now because everything is a feeling. And that's the subconscious world. So when we're looking at the mind, that's the whole point of the mind being the water that connects the fiery nothingness of the spirit and the airy earthiness of the body. I have to draw that out at some point. This mind is who and what you are, not the body. Now it's wrong. Because the point is that the spirit needs to create a mind to then create a body. So the mind is your first body. That's your first Merkaba. And that's really the body that can't be touched until you feel like it can, and then it can. Really, the spirit can't be touched. And the mind is created because the spirit wants to be touched. The spirit wants to connect. And the mind is the middle ground between the body that can actually be touched and the spirit that can't. So the mind shows whether the spirit wants to be touched or not. That's why the mind is infinite, because it connects desires and desirelessness. The desire to be touched in a body and the desire to not be touched as a spirit. The desire to be all one in a body, the desire to be alone as a spirit. We're all alone in our individual spirit worlds. And then only when we feel like connecting do we step into the universe. So your mind is not who you are. Your mind is changed. You create a mind because your mind is your awareness. And that's where your mind as water is created from your fire, from your vision. So it's also that. So it's all connected. I'm doing my best with words to help you see my perspective on all of it. Yeah, this mind is not who and what you are. You are the spirit. Your mind is a finite representation of your infinity. And then your body is a finite representation of your finite representation of infinity. So limited. Right? Like the fact that you can imagine things that your body can't do, that's your mind. And then everything that you can't imagine is the spirit. Observe, contemplate these things, well and often and gradually. The truth will build up within your understanding. Eventually, your understanding will expand to the point that it will overflow its borders, and the truth will explode within you like a great light. Like a great light, whatever, illuminating all of creation. The world will open up and unroll at your feet, and you will see and you will know for a certainty. If you knew for sure that you were not your body, earth, limited and mortal, but instead the consciousness within, fire, boo, boo, boo. We're not fire. And in fact, hold up. See, this is the point that I couldn't make in the first video, but because the video failed, I get to make this point now. Because if I was the fire, if I was actually my consciousness, I would be chaotic to the point where when that last video failed, I would have actually acted like fire and I would have destroyed this whole fucking apartment. I would have actually like been like fire and flailed my arms like, why can't technology work? Ah! And they just tear shit up and be screaming and it would be a blaze, right? There'd be a lot of smoke, a lot of fumes going off. I would literally get heated, right? Like that's fire. See how emotional fire is? See how emotions are all that there are then? See how life is inherently feminine because it's all emotional, because it's all feeling. And if you don't feel like doing something, you won't do it. If you don't feel like making a body and pumping your heart every day, you won't do it. So your feelings are created by your spirit. Your spirit shows you who you truly are through your feelings. And then your feelings create all your thoughts. So I, being me, observed that feeling. I mean, I of course felt and I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Like this, why does it have to fail? Why do I have to delete that? Why couldn't I just continue? But the point is that I communicate with myself about it, meditate on it, and then from a spiritual place, I'm like, okay, well, how can I use this? Like I see my fire is raging, but how is this serving me? How did my spirit actually set this up? See, and that's where this simulation is connecting you from your higher self, truly, your actual spirit. Because when you know that everything almost is happening for you, even if it's like the most horrible stuff, that's where you actually are able to step out of your fire. Because when you're in your fire, you can only react to what you see. And as a fire, you can only see the light you're projecting out. You're in like Leo mode. You're a Leo, right? The most narcissistic of the zodiac signs. Because it's only able to see as a fixed fire what bodies are reflecting light back to it. And then that's what it loves. And so that's where it's inherently chaotic and you're only going to be destructive. And that's what this world wants you to be. So no, we're not like that at all. And that's where I get to make this point now in a much more intelligent way. And I'm very grateful to Iracel, my higher self, because I got to see how this was set up to sort of more intelligently put into words just how much we are not fire, just how we are not our consciousness. We need to use our consciousness, and our consciousness is only as good as the emotions that it was created from. So that's why like 2 is life. Like it's not going to come down to 1, it's going to come down to 2. It's going to come down to the balance between thought and feeling, or earth and water in that case, as far as like something that's stable and something that's chaotic. It's like Sonic, chaos control, right? That's creation. All these C words, I'm Chase Clarence Calloway, Triple C, Hermes, thrice greatest. Like it's all that. It's all about 333, CCC, 369. There's not like 3 times 3, 9. We have 9 digits plus 0. And that just shows the whole path of ascension in general. So this is life. I love it. The universe is lit. There's so much going on. It's really whack to be enslaved and to be trapped in a world that you don't even want to be in. So that's the problem with fear. So that's how like fear is the complete opposite side of freedom, right? Because when you're fearful, you're not free at all. Both these F words, cool. When you're fearful, you're not free at all. When you are fearful, you give up your freedom. You were convinced to not be free, because then why are you fearful? Spiritually, you could only be fearful if you felt like you could be touched, which meant then that you got lost along the way in not only creating a body, but thinking that you are that body. So then that's where a spirit with a higher awareness, knowing that it's not that body, can use fear systemically to keep you trapped for eons. Eventually, your understanding will expand to the point there will overflow its borders, and the truth will explode within you like a great light, illuminating all of creation. Okay, you create creation. No, that illuminating all of creation. The world will open up and unroll at your feet, and you will see and you will know for a certainty. If you knew for sure you were not the body, earth, limited and mortal, but instead the conscious within, no. Big boo, right? Unlimited and immortal, what could then bother you in the least? Illness, disease, poverty, low social status? These things are as nothing compared to the secret that you now hold within. Awaken, and you will be as if born again into a world free of suffering. You will see the separation of the body, earth, and the spirit, fire. Boo. Let's say your consciousness, which really... yeah, no. Okay. It's all light, right? It's all light. If you are one, you're not connecting with yourself, and that's not sustainable. So you really need to be two. You need to be water. That's a subconscious mind. It's just the thing is that water is coming from the desire, which is fire, and that's where you would make three inherently, because now you're communicating with yourself. So that's where you are now communicating with yourself based on your desire of what you want to feel, the things that balance out what you want to feel, aka what you don't want to feel, the imagination that both these things come from, and then the feeling and nothingness, then the nothingness feeling that imagination came from, which is your individual perspective, your soul. So that all comes together to create a light body earth thing that then is like a planet, and you can build life on it, and you can have sex inside of yourself. So, the spirit's not fire. Fire is not life. It's not sustainable. It's just everything comes from the desire, comes from fire, which is a spirit. But it's like one individual spirit needing to learn how to connect with itself. Honestly, the point that as I'm listening to myself, that I'm really hammering in is that the entities are not, who have retranslated this and changed my things up and put it out, don't know how to connect with themselves. And thus, they can't teach you or share with you how to connect with yourself. Because water is connection. That's why they're not going to have you water fast. That's why they put heavy metals in the water. That's why they poison the water. That's why they disrespect water in general. And that's why they disrespect connection. And they're okay with destroying nature, acting like somehow they're separate from nature at the same time. Just shows this mentality. I know these things for a certainty, for I awoke and am now free, completely free. And you can be as well. Cool. I did not realize how long these videos were about to be. This might be a 3-parter / 4-parter / 5-parter. Because I kind of forget how long this thing is. I'm reading it live with you. So we're about to finish 7, and then this will be it for this video. 7. It arises from the earth to heaven and then falls back again to the earth, receiving the power of both heaven and earth. Cool. Heaven and earth. Heaven is air. Earth is earth. So heaven, air, is the external representation of fire, which is internal. This is where elements really helps with the number stuff. Earth is the external representation of water, which is internal. So that's where then heaven and earth are fire and water, and that all comes together with spirit to create phi, which is physical reality, which is then fire inherently, because spirit is fiery, because spirit is always transforming, and the only constant is change. And earth is the logic that defies emotion, and like, I get that everything's changing, but can we keep it the same? That's earth. And so then earth is like, I'm going to change right here instead of like all out here. I'm going to change right here. I'm good here. And then that's where spirits, you need to change all out here. Earth is essential. A Taurus is essential to build a toroid, a donut-like structure of, actually that's what physical simulations look like to me anyway, when they're in the flower of life and everything. Um, for other spirits to come in and use their 1, 2s, and 3s and 4 to build their individuality and ascend and build their own toroids like simulations. That's where Sonic is really on one. Whoa, Sonic is really on one. That's crazy. Like those gold rings that Sonic has are straight up just like referring to simulations, because they're clearly just like, oh yeah, we know we're in simulations. That's the whole point of every level in a video game. And Sonic moves super fast because he's supposed to represent how the spirit moves impossibly fast. Just like as Hermes, I represent how the spirit moves impossibly fast. And it's about channeling those facts into your body on a way that is then relatable and communicatable in that realm, and not just fiery ego like, I want superpowers, because you want them. Shout out Sonic. Alright, when I awakened, it was as if my mind, the consciousness within me, separated from the body. I once thought to be my entirety and soared upward or beyond or within. I like that. It was as if my understanding had expanded to the breaking point, and the borders that once contained it were overwhelmed and overcome. Once free, my consciousness burst forth and expanded in all directions forever. The natural state of spirit. The masculine spirit, at least. I haven't really thought about spirits that like go inward forever. Whoa. There were no barriers left to hold it in. Before my mind's eye opened a world and a truth I could have never imagined had I lived 1,000,000 years and I experienced myself, my true self, in my entirety. So right here, this is just the point that us as spirits, we purposefully limit our awareness in these bodies so that we can have orgasms again, aka we have novelty, right? We can have romance. There we go. We can have romance in life. Because imagine you just actually know everything that's going on and you know everything that's going to happen, right? Like you're watching a movie, literally. Are you about to go pay $30 for a movie that someone just told you everything that happened in it and like you just got a synopsis for it? Like, are you about to have the same emotional highs from going through that movie? So this is why as gods, we purposely have to create bodies that then limit our awareness of the life we've set out for ourselves so that we can enjoy the synchronicities. Before my mind's eye opened a world and the truth. Right, all that. Also the fact that there's so much more going on that we... Honestly, more stuff is being built every day. Like dreams are us building worlds in the astral realm in a wild way. In a wild way. And then we take that and like build it here, and it's like all connected. So it's all of us building life. We're building life together all the time. It is like always abundance in that way. And it's just about us limiting our awareness so that we can truly enjoy and remember to enjoy just how awesome we are. Because like if we're just in one space for too long, you know, we get too used to it. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. As a spirit, if your space is awesome, right? You've cultivated an awesome space, but like you're too used to it and you know it's not the space that's the problem, you need to exit that space. You need to create a body and go visit other spirits' world and forget about your world. So that when you're in that world, you may really want to die in that world. And like when you finally die, you remember why. And you're like, oh snap, my shit's dope. Like I was in there for like, you know, the wisdom and stuff. That's cool. But like glad I'm back here. And the point of dreaming is for you to be able to go back to your spirit world and do that more consciously anyway. And that's more astral realm. Yeah, it's like connecting physical world to the spirit. Spirit is nothing, so then that's even like your fire. So that's where these tablets, the people who are translating this, they're more so speaking from their dreams, from their vision, from like their fire, not their actual nothingness, desirelessness, but like their actual dreams, what they desire to see the world as, which is you being enslaved to their mind forever. I was overcome, filled to the core with light and peace and love and knowledge. Like that, bro. Boo. Boo. Boo love and boo peace and boo light and boo knowledge. That's not the universe. That's not the spirit. What is peace? Peace. Love. Not knowledge. No ledge. No ledge. So it just never, bro. That's not wise at all. And I'm just being oppositional for the wisdom in it. Look, because love is great, but also hate is what generates greatness. There's a reason those things rhyme. Hate and great and generate. Literally, it's all about your actual emotion. Hate is what lets you levitate. Like, love is comfortable. Love is like, okay, I'll stay here. And like, love is the trap. Love and light is the trap of this world. That's why they sang with light and love. Because people are going to read this and be like, oh, Hermes, I love, great. Yeah, I want to feel that. It's like, nah, bro, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Especially knowledge. Knowledge. So knowledge is light. When you have true wisdom, I'm the God of wisdom, not knowledge. All knowledge comes from wisdom, though. What is knowledge? Knowledge is made up. Knowledge is light. And wisdom is knowing that everything is made up because spirits feel like it. So then that's where you need to go to the spiritual realm of desirelessness. And that's the point of fasting and living in the desireless state as much as possible, or at least interacting with desires from desirelessness, from non-attachment. Enjoying these things, but not being them. Enjoying your body, but not being it so that you can fully utilize it. Or else someone can manipulate your limited awareness of thinking you are your body instead of you fully getting to actually use it for full enjoyment. Like, you don't even enjoy the body when you think you are it. So, yeah, we're talking about desirelessness. And when we're talking about wisdom, like peace and love and knowledge, yeah, no. Knowledge, there's no ledge to knowledge. It's all made up. And that's wisdom. Okay? Like, we can write books for eons, but like, it's only going to vibrate at the emotions of the spirits who wrote those books. So if you're like reading all these books thinking you're getting smarter, but they're all written by people who hate themselves, you're not actually getting smarter. You're actually getting dumber. And you're actually really dumb if you think you're getting smarter as you're consuming knowledge created from the wisdom of people who hate themselves. When my consciousness returned to my body, it was as if I were now two instead of the one. For though I had a body, I now knew that I and my body were not one and the same. Right, using the body from the spirit. You use yourself. You are a tool. I was a consciousness. Boo. Gosh. We're going to keep saying boo to that. Hey, reps. This is the mind's a muscle. We're here for reps. The school didn't give us these reps. The eternal awareness, stubbornly inhabiting this body and this world for a time. Now that's relatable. Fair. Eternal awareness. It's rough. There's truth in this. That's why I'm reading it like this. The paradox was that I had become what I had always been, but never realized. I now live in this world and enjoy its pleasures, unattached, unafraid. That's what I'm talking about. What in the name of all that is holy could I ever have to fear? No fear. We're free over here. Fear is literally giving up your freedom to someone else. Like freedom is you being in your own space, but then perhaps once you step out of your space, you decide to give up your freedom to another spirit who's also in the same space as you. That's what fear is. F-ear. There we go. Fear. So what is F-ear? F-ear means that you're hearing something. Your ear. It means that you're catching a vibration that is pulling you off of your vibration. Literally. So when you're in fear, when you're like free dumb, even dumb right there, just to break dumb down, you're ignorant. You're ignorant of anyone else's bullshit when you're free. right? Like that's what freedom is. Like when you're emotionally free, you're just like yourself. You're a true representation of your infinite nothingness as a spirit. And like that can look chaotic, that can look carefree or whatever. Um, and you only start to fear things once another spirit sends out a vibration from over here that takes you off your vibration because you hear it with your ear, and then that vibration is like, hey, you should be aware of this because it can take away your freedom. So give me your freedom. You should give up your freedom now so you don't have your freedom taken away later. And then that's where you have a lot of spirits who are like, oh, I'm scared. I should give up the freedom that I feel right now because I don't want to have my freedom taken away. See how logic of a demon will just have you trapped? What could ever shake my peace in the least? For I am eternal, immortal, and free. I am neither bound by this world of matter and time, nor tied to the decline and decay and death of this body. I now possess the power of both worlds, of heaven and earth, for I have the knowledge of my true identity, and also have the earthly realm in which to create and to explore and to enjoy. Boom. Heaven and earth, air and earth. The externalization of fire and water, which is all created by the spirit to create a 5-cycle reality. It is said to explore and enjoy. Boom. It is said that humans on earth are above, even the gods in heaven, who envy man. For the gods have only the immortal form, while man possesses the same immortal form, but also the earthly form with which to enjoy as well. So that's actually a big, valid point that Hermes is making. Us as humans in earthly form, we are already immortal. So this is the point I'm making here. If I could put it in my words, would be nothingness is immortal, and we are all nothing. We are all spirit. And what's cool, when we're in a body, we need and should know, we need to know and hammer in that we have created that body from nothing. And the ultimate logic in this world, especially, right, we're forced to learn it in science class and regurgitate it to be considered intelligent enough to be a slave on a white supremacist agenda to enact mass genocide on cosmic levels, that energy cannot be created. And the more we hammer that in as a fact through school, the more we're disconnected from our immortal form. Wow. Literally. Boo. Boo. Sometimes I just gotta say boo, bro. And it's not even B-O-O, it's B-H-U. Boo. Like, boo. Like, just really breathy boo. Like, boo. Like, that's just big shame. Shame on that. Like, that's insane. As a free being, like, I don't want to stoop down my freedom too hard and, like, get lost in, like, how awful that is. Because I already did in this body. That's the point of why I'm here, is Chase Clarence Calloway, being able to speak English and speak about this. I went through the school system and all these lies. This is the world. These white supremacists, these entities stealing indigenous cultures, the things that we've built in the past, and then transforming them to not help liberate you, but help enslave you. And we got to build more systems of liberation. That's about to be the end of this one, actually. Yeah, we're like an hour in. Okay. I may still be in this world, but I am no longer of it. And this I know for a certainty. Spirit makes this world. Boom. This world is not the extent of me. Nor is this body and death, but is the beginning. That's a perfect place to end, bro. So, where this is about to be probably a 4-parter, 5-parter even. I did not anticipate these getting so long, but that's the point. I hope you enjoyed this little audio book. Snap. This is, straight up the awakening, bro. Because we just have to write whole new things. We have to create whole new things. We have to create a whole new language, because literally the tools, like this language I'm using to decode the way that they've messed up my text is, I'm doing my best right now. But for me to really communicate what I want to communicate to you, I'd have to create my own language and teach it to you. right? Like that's the whole thing with individuality. So it's the same thing with the language you're speaking now. White supremacists, light supremacist entities who want to disconnect you from the darkness, your truth of nothingness, are going to create a language that is specifically tailored to separate you. So I'll see you in the next video. We'll keep using English until we develop some new stuff. Till then, keep that heart beating nice. I love you and hate you and everything in between. But overall, really, I respect you and your journey as a spirit, as long as you respect others. Gang, gang.